CEO of Total Energies, Patrick Pouyan, says he will announce a new oil and gas deal in Angola this week worth $6 billion, thanks to Angola having a more stable oil and gas policy landscape than Nigeria. This was part of a wide-ranging conversation at the just concluded Africa CEO Forum in Kigali, which also featured Africa's richest man, Aliko Dangote. Arise Business correspondent Rotus Odiri sent in this report.
Africa CEO Forum here in Kigali, Rwanda, saved the best for last with an engaging conversation with Aliko Dangote, the president and CEO of the Dangote Group, Africa's richest man of Nigeria, and Patrick Pouyan, who of course is the chairman and CEO of Total Energies. Aliko Dangote first off kicked things off by talking about the refinery expansion plans in the new year.
By next month, we'll be producing gasoline. But what that will do is that it will be able to take most of the African crudes that are being produced and also be able to supply not only Nigeria, our capacity is too big for Nigeria, but it will be able to supply in West Africa, Central Africa, and also South Africa. And then we are expanding, well, this is the first phase. We're actually going now to the next phase, which will start early next year.
Now, a lot has been said about the advantages of coming to continental forums like this, where people from different countries get a chance to meet and mingle. Patrick Pouyan actually boosted that by saying that the Africa CEO Forum here in Kigali had allowed him and Aliko Dangote to meet and also strike a deal.
But you know, thanks to this event, and thank you to Mr. Kagame to inviting me, we made this morning the first deal between both of us.
You made the first deal with the Dangote refinery.
I can tell you. We met here, and because of the refinery, we said together, okay, look, we are a big crude producer in Nigeria, but also in other countries, and we are also a big off-taker of products for the continent, so we should find a way to work a deal. So the two CEOs met with our head of trading, and we find a way to convince them to make a deal.
Now, the Total Energy CEO was asked about insecurity, particularly in Mozambique, that $20 billion LNG project that has been halted since 2021 because of the force majeure as a result of insecurity. He said it's something that is still being worked on.
We are all working hard, I can tell you, contractors aligned, everybody is working hard. It's a project with a huge size, so, you know, unfortunately we were obliged to stop it, but we intend, clearly my objective is to resume it. And I'm working hard, I can tell you, it's on the top of my agenda to resume it, and we'll do it in the best possible conditions for everybody, of course, but security first, but it's a matter of really, that's high on our agenda.
The conversation then switched to the environment and electric vehicles, something I will admit I've been particularly excited about. Aliko Dangote says the electric vehicle revolution, it will happen, but it's going to take some time.
You know, people talk about, yes, you know, all these vehicles, you know, EVs. Yes, it's true. Today, the production of vehicles in the world is about 100 million. If you take even 25 million vehicles to produce, you need over 6 million tons of lithium and other copper and other things, which today we're at a capacity of about 1 million. So I don't know when this thing is going to replace the fossil fuel.
The conversation then moved to energy self-sufficiency, particularly for Nigeria. Aliko Dangote boldly said that by June, Nigeria should not be importing any more gasoline, and he then said further that he should be challenged on this. Within 3 to 4 years, Nigeria should not be importing any fertilizer.
Right now, Nigeria have no cost to import anything apart from gasoline. By sometime in June, next month, within the next 4 or 5 weeks, Nigeria shouldn't import anything like gasoline, not 1 drop of liter. And as I said, give us 3, maximum 4 years, Africa will not, and I repeat, and you can challenge me, will not import any more fertilizer from anywhere.
Okay, then things got really honest. Patrick Pouyan was then asked about the challenges of doing business on the African continent. He mentioned a number of things: insecurity, a lack of talent, and also policy flip-flops. And he mentioned Nigeria. In fact, he said within a week or so, he's going to be announcing a deal in Angola of about $6 billion because Angola has a more stable policy environment for oil and gas as compared to Nigeria. And he also mentioned electricity issues.
I would say for Africa, what are the challenges, if I'm honest? First, security. But we are able to deal with it. So I would say we are accustomed in the Niger Delta to deal with it. So of course it requires some specific things, because for a CEO like me, of course security of my people is of primary importance, you know, so I have to, that's almost, but I would say that's the point. Then of course, then it's finding talents in the continent. You have some countries like Nigeria, like Rwanda, where we can find talents quite easily. Some of us have a difficulty of education. So I would say, and we can contribute to you to that as well by training people. It's part of what we bring. But I think that's the second point on which we need to invest collectively. And then sometimes, you know, you have a sort of, it's life. So you love to debate. You love to open topics without closing them. So you know, when in Nigeria, for example, we have been, since I am in the business, there is always a new legislation in Nigeria about a new petroleum law. So when you have so in France we are accustomed, but we don't have oil and gas. In Nigeria, you know, when you have a permanent debate, and it's difficult for investors who look for the long term to know where we go. And in fact, it has been bad, to be honest, because the reality, unfortunately, I think that Niger Delta is the most prolific part of West Africa. But when you look what happened, because of this debate, there was not a single exploration well in Nigeria for 12 years. The last project we done it was Egina in 2014. So it's time now, sometimes, to go to a debate, but then to settle the debate, and then to put a framework on the table so that the investors can trust. And so I'm working hard, and I visited President Tinubu. I will come back again tomorrow to tell him, okay, look, we fixed the gas, no, we need to fix the water. So that's important, to find the signal. There are countries which perfectly have integrated that. Angola, I will go to Angola and announce a very large project, $6 billion, beginning of the week, because there, the framework is stable. So we know where we go. Mozambique, stable. Uganda, we had some debates in Uganda, which have been part of the problem. So I think that's important, stability. Then I would say today, when I'm looking to our multi-energy strategy, we want to invest in electricity, which is another electric energy. It's more local. And what we face today, honestly, is a difficulty to secure the payments for electricity. I know it's a topic. The governance of electricity in the continent is less clear than in oil and gas. And I think we need to make an effort. And everybody thinks that renewables is good for Africa because you have sun, you have wind, etc. But in fact, we need to put some right framework. And know when I'm attending at the AEA against forum to speak about Africa, I tell them, look, what we need today is not words. We need actions from the World Bank or this institution to put a guarantee scheme in place. We just want to guarantee to secure. I don't think we'll use it. But when you invest in electricity, it's a local energy. You need to find a way to secure it. It's of primary importance. So I think we need to put some goodwill together to find the right framework to let this electricity business really growing in Africa, because without it, it's difficult to make industries, it's difficult for people to I would say, to have a better way of life, elevate standard of life. So the continent is plenty of resource, for sure, and we love it. I think it's part, and honestly, even if sometimes it's a little the mess, we love it. Right. Because the French people often find a way to navigate, you know, so we are good on that.
Aliko Dangote also chimed in, saying that the Tinubu administration has made some positive steps, but more needs to be done in terms of policy. And he also talked about policy inconsistency across the African continent, using a funny and accurate analogy of moving goalposts. And he also mentioned that for every #1 that he makes in revenue, about half of that is eaten up by taxes.
In Nigeria, I think the current government, they've done quite a lot, like what you said, in electricity tariff. The issue is about payment. And then they have also done quite a lot in terms of the PIA, which is Petroleum Industry Act. It's true, it might not be 100% perfect, but it's a start. But I think the biggest challenge that we have as entrepreneurs in Africa is the inconsistencies in policies. Well, now you say, okay, yes, today we are going to drive left hand, or you say, okay, fine, goalpost is here, you know, just in front of you. When you are about to score the goal, then the government will remind you, no, the goalpost has been changed to behind you. So, you know, so these are the main issues that are actually, they can bankrupt anybody. So I think we need to really look at it that, look, our own political leaders, what you need to understand is that it's a win-win. It's like what they say, you cannot clap with one hand, you clap with two hands. Now, I was telling somebody was talking about, yeah, you know, you people are making too much money in cement, blah, blah, blah. Then later on, I reminded the person that, look, go and check our figures. For every ₦1 that I turn around, government collects 52%.
So on every single naira?
On every single naira we turn around, 52% goes to the government through various taxes. Okay, so it's not a tea party. Everybody is benefiting.
The African Continental Free Trade Area was also discussed, and Aliko Dangote said that Africans must take the responsibility for regional integration in order for the AfCFTA to work, and said that foreigners are not going to be the saviors. Africans have to do it themselves.
Right now, our main job is to make sure the regional markets, they all work. Okay? Once they work, then we can now go to AFCTA. But the AFCTA also, we need to make sure that it works. We cannot have a very, very promising continent and our intra-trade is less than 16%. Okay, so we Africans will have to do it. If we are waiting for foreigners to come and do it, about the development of Africa, it's not going to happen. So it can only happen by us Africans. We must risk our resources and make sure that we lead. Then we will have people who actually trust and believe in Africa, like Patrick, to come and help us to push to the next level.
On the issue of the high cost of a single entry visa into Nigeria, Larry Madowo of CNN, who was the moderator, spoke about an issue that he had raised earlier in a tweet about the high costs that he had faced whenever he comes into Nigeria.
On a point of personal privilege, because I have the microphone, I complained recently about Nigeria requires me to pay $215 for a single entry 1 month visa every time. Biometrics is $170. And I said, as an African, as a Kenyan, this seems unfair. And they told me, actually, Kenya said it would be easier to come to Kenya, but then you introduced an electronic travel authorization, which made it harder to come to Kenya. So I was like, I don't work for government, but President Ruto is here, so he's heard.
Okay. Aliko Dangote responded to that, saying that there was a Federal Executive Council meeting in Nigeria and that President Tinubu is not happy about what's been going on with the high cost of visas, entry visas for visitors from other countries, and that it is going to be addressed in a couple of weeks.
Let me also tell you the good news. On Monday, there was cabinet meeting, and President Tinubu wasn't happy about this same visa issue. And I can assure you, in the next couple of weeks, you'll see a massive reform in terms of visas going into Nigeria.
All in all, a highly entertaining, thoroughly engaging, very informative CEO chat between Aliko Dangote of the Dangote Group and Patrick Puyan of Total-Dangote. And
you listen to that. Now you see why foreign investors are not coming to Nigeria to invest. They are not listening to Tinubu. Imagine Nigeria now lost $6 billion worth investment to Angola because of bad policy. Bad policy, bad policy. Nobody is ready to gamble with his or her money to a country where there is no stable policy, where there is no security, a country where there is no rule of law, a country where there is no electricity, a country that is not safe for foreign investors, that is not safe for investment, that is not conducive for investors, especially for foreigners. Nobody is ready to gamble with his or her money. A country where there is no law to protect your money in case of tomorrow. Bad policy. You see, this is the reason. Just imagine the investment are supposed to come to Nigeria now. They lost it to Angola because they prefer, their policies are okay. Now, just take example of this landmarks estate where they just demolished because of they want to do road. If they can demolish that millions dollars investment, how much is your investment that will not be demolished tomorrow if government comes? This is a country where if the foreigners are saying the demolitions that is going on across all the states in Nigeria, the one going on in Lagos, that one small thing, the one going on in Delta State, another thing, plus other countries, other states like that. Imagine. So it's not good for them. Today, government sell property for you. You have all the documents, everything, pay money to government. So tomorrow another government comes in, because you don't share that money to them, they want to demolish, they want to start their development from they already developed, meanwhile other places are there to be developed. They start demolish every time. You see? So it's not, you see the reason now, other ones that have already established in Nigeria, they are relocating out of Nigeria. Bad policy, bad policy. But there is no stable policy. It's not happening elsewhere in abroad. There's no direction. Government, if you go other places now, they already structure the countries. You understand? Stable policy is not going to change anytime soon in terms of this demolition. They know this property are government properties. Nobody is going to come and sell it. No government will come tomorrow and take over. But it's only in Nigeria. You see? So it's a lot of problem. Just imagine now Tinubu is going everywhere. All the places that he has visited, he said they are coming to Nigeria to invest. All of them, they declined. They're not coming. Meanwhile, those ones here, they are relocating. They can't meet up. A lot of things to consider before you put your money. Before you put your money down to say you want to invest, you consider you must factor in a lot of things. So these policies is one of these. Is one of it. See, before you talk of electricity, that one matters a lot. There's no electricity. And look at the other question, the visa issue that one talked about. Dangote, I know you are there. You're just trying to defend your countries. You yourself know what they are saying, what they're talking about. Yes, you just try to defend your country, which is good. So until we solve our problems, by ourselves before we attract foreign investors. Foreign investors investment will not come and settle, solve our problem for us. All the problems going on, all the insecurity going on across the country. The countries are not safe. If only you listen to one interview, these British people grant that day because of Harry and his wife visited Nigeria. Listen to that interview, what they said about Nigeria. They said, why would they have to come to Nigeria? They are risking their life. That's what one of the British interview that I listened to said. They took everything they looked down on us. We have all the resources. We have everything it takes to solve our problems here in Nigeria. Tinubus are going everywhere. All the places he visited that they said they are coming to Nigeria, they are just using Nigeria to cash cruise. That they are coming. They are not coming. They are declined. All of them, they declined. So until we solve our problems by ourselves, before we don't even need to go back there, they will come. Like I said, Nigeria is a huge market for foreign investors to come. You don't need to call them. They will be the one begging you. They will be the one begging you because it's a huge market on its own. If the country is safe to an extent for people to do their businesses, there is electricity, anybody who invests in this country will not lose money, will not lose investment. Huge market. Once you penetrate into the market, for what? That's just the problem. So today demolition, tomorrow demolition. So what is that assurance that when you put your money down tomorrow, government is not going to demolish your business? Even if they want to compensate you, they will locate you to somewhere else. You are going to start afresh again. It can never be the same when there is no good policy. So everything lies on that policy, especially in this administration. And how many of those policies you see that worked out, that people really give kudos to, say, yeah, this is a good policy, it's going to work. All of them. So please, like, share, comment, and subscribe to this YouTube channel. Please, let's grow this YouTube channel. Please.